Upgrades.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. This here is a film that completely caught me off guard. I did not know what to expect. It was on my list of something I had to see because of the actor in it, but nothing could prepare you for this film. And this one is called Sing, Sing. And here's a quick synopsis. A theater group escapes the reality of incarceration through the creativity of staging a play, with a cast that includes actors who have been incarcerated. And this one is directed by Kwedar. It stars Colman Domingo as Divine G, Paul Racy as Brett, Clarence Divine I Maclin, who plays himself, Sean Whitfield, who plays himself, and then we have Sean San Jose, who plays Mike. First off, what makes Sing Sing special is that most of the actors in this film are playing themselves. These are people who were in this prison play. I think it's called the RTA program that help inmates put on plays, help them escape their realities, or help develop a skill that a lot of people didn't know that these talented gentlemen had. So it sets up everything beautifully. Once the film opens up and we're introduced to Colman Domingo's Divine G on stage, giving a rendition of Hamlet, it sets in motion just what you're going to get here. It is an amazing monologue he puts on. And then we quickly go back to these gentlemen being put back in their reality, which is that they are all incarcerated. It's a powerful moment that you had to opening this film up. And then right after that, we get the gentlemen meeting together to talk about the next play they're going to put on. And then that is the crux of the story, is these gentlemen putting on this play to help escape reality. But not only that, bringing in new people. And that's when we get introduced to Clarence, who plays Divine I in the film, who is Divine I. It's very odd to say him playing a character when it's technically him. But we introduced to his character on the yard as Divine G goes up to him to recruit him because he showed interest in joining this theater group. From there, we see that Divine I just has radical ideas of the play they should have put on next. He wants it to be a horror, comedy, Western, futuristic, with King Tut in it. It is the most insane idea, but they get their leader of this group, which is Brett, who's someone who's from the outside who comes in to help these incarcerated gentlemen put together these amazing pieces of work. And we see that he comes up in a weekend with a script that gave every idea that they wanted to put into this play. But then we start to see the power struggle between Divine I and Divine G. And what makes this film special is that this could have went down a road of these two gentlemen hating each other, and it leading to the inevitable prison drama that we get every year on screen, verbatim. It's like down to a T. As you're watching this film, you're kind of hoping it doesn't go down that route, but you kind of see it and say, okay, I see where this film is going. Where this film succeeds is that it never disrespects the gentleman in the program. While we do see Divine G and Divine I having issues with one another, the issues have way more to do with both of these gentlemen being incarcerated and having to readjust from prison life to theater life, to use it as an escape. It is some very powerful scenes where the other actors are talking about the program. Even on scenes where we see Divine I go off. One in particular scene, not a spoiler, where he's performing as Hamlet. And part of the blocking is somebody walking behind him. But because of him being incarcerated, because of him always having to protect himself, he's immediately nervous and reacts as such. And then we have another one of the gentlemen, I think it was John, who gives an amazing speech about letting all of that go. Like, this is not the time to hold on to the things that we did in the yard. This is the time to understand this is our escape from all of that stuff. This is our time just to be normal people again. That's what makes this movie so powerful, along with a great performance by Colman Domingo, who is on a run this year of giving amazing performances here. But I want to focus more than anything on is Clarence Divine I. Maclin, who is fantastic in this film. He embodies everything humanly possible at the beginning of this film of what people think about inmates. And then as the film progresses and we see him progress, him get more comfortable, him escaping the mindset of having to be incarcerated and just going back to him being himself, even with help from later on in the film with Divine G about giving him hope that he can get out of the system. He gives an amazing speech about he's in the system and he left a son behind who ended up following the same road that he was on and ended up in the system. And we see how that crushed him and we see how that kind of brought down his hope. But as the play goes on, as these performances go on, as the practice leading up to their big reveal to everyone goes on, we see it loosen up his heart and brings him back to understanding. In the end, I may be in prison, but that don't mean my mind needs to be trapped there also. It's a great thing here. And then there's a relationship between Divine G and Mike. As best friends being in this prison system of always being there for one another. We get to see Colman and Sean play off each other, who in real life, they're actually best friends, which is also amazing. But the way they play off of each other in this film is great. It's just normal conversations. At one point in time, I forgot I was watching a film of inmates or incarcerated gentlemen. One point in time, I completely forgot that. And it just felt like just a regular theater troupe putting on a performance. And you forget that their reality is that they're still stuck behind this cage system for 24/7, 365. They're still stuck behind that system. But just being in this program gave them so much hope that it gives the audience hope. And in the end, this becomes a huge crowd pleaser. It's moments in this film that can absolutely break you because you see just how hard they fight for freedom at points in this film, but also how hard they fight just to escape the realities of their situation. At one point in time, they have a scene where one of the former inmates who got out comes back in and he gives an amazing speech to everyone else about how it's like to be on the outside and the challenges that come along with it, but also the freedom that comes along with it, things that most people take for granted. When you watch a film like this and you understand the prison system and you understand how it is literally set up to break people. And yet this program is set up to uplift as many people as humanly possible. At the end of the film, when they did a Q&A and they brought out the entire cast, these extremely talented gentlemen, and they brought out Brent, who's a real person, and he talked about the program and he talked about how inmates who do over 10 or 15 years, 70% of them go back to jail because it's hard for them to readjust to society. But people in his program who may have served that long a sentence, only 3% of them go back. And it shows that if you can help change their mind when they're inside, try to help them start that adjustment early. And that adjustment is just so simple as, hey, let's put on this production here. Let's do something that takes you out of the environment that you have to be adjusted to. If I can free your mind just a little bit, by the time you set up to get out, you're already halfway there. You possibly already jumped over the curb that everyone else can stumble over. That's what makes this movie amazingly powerful, along with just great performances. Clarence Divine I. Maclin. This is an awards contending performance that he gives in this film. It is great. And it's great because, again, we get to see the progression of him, of this hard-nosed person who he don't belong in this program. By the time you get to the end of the movie, he feels like he's the leader of everything positive about the program. And that's what makes this movie good, along with Colman Domingo, again, giving an amazing performance that everybody should see. So, Sing Sing, brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give Sing Sing a 10 out of 10. This is a perfect movie. It is great. It is heartfelt. It is touching. It is gut-wrenching. It is it sets you in a reality that you need to see. And I think the audience comes out better for it. This was one of the few films that I say was truly crowd pleasing at this year's festival. This film was amazing on every level, and I can't say any more about it. I just want everybody humanly possible to see it. So check it out when it drops. When we get more information, when it comes out, we will definitely let everyone know so you can let us know your opinions on Sing Sing. This has been another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Peace, people.